Oh, I want some.
But you never have a second cup.
I know, but it's so good.
Good to the last drop.
Hi, guys. It was fun. Maxwell House. So we're going to do this.
Yeah, we're going to do it every Tuesday now.
Yeah. What are we going to do? Tell them.
Hopefully you guys caught the reference. So as Tuesday is going to be catching on more and more every month, we're going to be improvising and adding in like little commercials, little advertisements for like old school coffee. Like right now today we did Maxwell House. Please tell me someone caught the joke.
Yes, come on.
And yeah, we're just going to be adding those into every single show from here on out.
Well, the only thing we didn't have in this commercial was the little old lady.
Yeah.
I wanted to put a wig on her boyfriend and have him over here doing it.
Because he would fit perfectly.
But anyways, and I'm dying because I'm wearing this, I swear, the shape of my head, what is it?
You're $250.
Oh. The shape of my head with this hat, I belong behind a concession stand.
I would buy chicken from you.
Chicken. I'm telling you, church's chicken.
And did they always have to wear those hats, or was that...
No, this was big back in the 60s and 70s, and then it went into the 80s somewhat.
Sure.
And you might still find places that wear them.
Oh, cool.
But they're the
so
paper
cute.
hats.
I love them. I wish White Castle would bring them back. I'm really lit for today's topic.
I am too, because it's weird.
Today's topic is weird, but it's also... It's
weird good.
Like weird in a good way, and I feel like it's different than like some other things that we have like covered in the show in the past. I feel like we're going to be talking about a couple of things that obviously a lot of folks know what they are, but just either haven't seen them in a long time, or maybe you're a younger viewer like myself and you just have no idea what green stamps are. Thank you. Mm-hmm. It should come up.
And we're going to be... Oh, yeah, it's live.
Okay, perfect.
Are you on Instagram?
No, he can pull up Instagram.
Oh, no, right.
He
That's
was made
fine.
by Jay. I forgot he got banned.
Who?
He did.
From Instagram?
Yeah, they took his Instagram account.
Why? Oh, we'll talk later.
Yep. Anyway.
Anyways, so you know what? That happened just recently too, because TikTok removed a video from a friend of mine, just out of the blue.
It was either like the sound or something that they possibly could have said.
I don't know.
Hi, Mom.
So, anyways, we did an opening where we did the 1970s Maxwell House commercial.
Yep.
So if you missed it, you'll have to rewind to watch.
It's good. You should.
It was fun. It was fun. And we're going to do a different 70s or 60s commercial, or even into the 80s.
Yeah.
Commercial at the beginning of every show. Sometimes they may even go through the show, depending on what they are.
That'd be cool. I like that idea.
I think it's exciting. So we are going to be talking about strange and bizarre ways of buying goods in the 60s or 70s.
It's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
I was super intrigued with this. When I came into work today, we were just kind of discussing about what we wanted the show to be about tonight. And I was like, let's talk green stamps, because we've never covered green stamps before.
Green stamps, right behind your head.
Yep, I feel like a lot of people don't know, well, younger people don't know what they are or have heard of them, and they are different from food stamps, so we will cover that as well.
Much different.
Did we bring anything over, or is it all over here?
It's right here.
Oh, okay. Is the little...
Oh, the books are here, but we did not pull the Pyrex set, and we're not going to.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Because it's extremely expensive. So we got green stamp books here. Are you going to want to talk about that a little bit? Can you hear me mine too?
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely.
So don't you love how unorganized we are here?
No, it's okay. You guys love it, and we know it, because it's authentic.
But you know what? Before we get started, I want to tell you, next week we're not going to be streaming here.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I totally forgot.
So next week, you're still going to be able to watch us, but we are going to be with Brooke Allen in the Caffeinated Conversations after dark. So starting next week on Tuesday the 21st, Brooke is launching her evening show.
And where are we going to be at?
We are going to be at Heights Brewery.
And that's in?
Farmington.
Okay.
That's in Farmington. And it's historic in a way, because it's going to be a collaboration between Caffeinated Conversations After Dark with Brooke Allen and Heights Brewery, Mad Michigan, Time Warp Vintage, and a bunch of other Design Team Plus out of Birmingham, Karen Kof. I'm going to say her last name wrong.
It's okay. We also have all of that linked to the flyer as well. So if you guys are interested in checking out any of the brands that we're collaborating with, they'll all be on the bottom half of the flyer. There are tickets for the event, but it is invite only. So the only way that you'll be able to obtain tickets is if you do get an invite.
Well, you can go on and try and buy them, but you may not be able to if we're already hitting our max.
Sure.
But if we oversell, we do have an overflow at Blue Hat Coffee.
Oh, cool. I
Which
did not
is
know
across
that.
the street.
It's across the street from Blue
Yep.
Hat. Okay, perfect. I'm excited because I love Blue Hat. I also did want to bring up the fact that this is such a monumental, like Jason said, historic event that's going to be taking place. And I'm speaking for the younger generation that are part of our viewers, that you guys know I'm a super strong advocate for anti-drunk driving, and ever since I met Jason, I have become even stronger in that realm. And I feel like this is just a really great opportunity to network and showcase a bunch of different brands, but also bring awareness to a super extreme important issue that is 100% preventable. There's going to be different sources of resources there via MAD, right? There's going to at least be a couple people there in case they need any information.
There's a silent auction. Proceeds go to MAD, and some of it go to Heights Brewery because they are a startup. But it is the first time MAD in any way is stepping inside the bar.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
I love that. That's what we should have called it, how the tables have turned. So this is the first time in history
Ever.
for MAD, in history of MAD, that MAD will be doing, will be talking from inside, will be educating from inside, will be spreading the message from inside the bars, because a lot of people don't realize that bars can be held partially responsible for allowing somebody to get in a car and drive home if they are aware of their drinking habits, if they do not take any steps whatsoever to help in making it happen. If it becomes egregious, you could end up getting shut down. The bar that happened with my family did twice. So it's a big historic event. We will be there. You will see us on air. You will. We're going to be running both shows simultaneously because the shows. It runs from 5. It's 4:30 to 7:30, but the show starts at 5 and goes to 6.
Okay.
So it'll be a little bit earlier than normal, but you will see us. You will see a lot of cool people. There are a lot of cool names that are going to be coming that we're not letting out as a surprise. But that's then. So let's talk about now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited.
The weird and bizarre ways. You're going to talk about green stamps.
Yep.
Now, those of you who remember what a green stamp is, you guys, let us know. Give us a heart. Give us a thumbs up. Or something to that effect, because a lot of people don't know. We're moving into generations gone by when it comes to green stamps and different things like that. But green stamps were a thing. Were a big thing in the 70s and 60s.
Were a huge thing in the 60s and 70s. And honestly, I was really intrigued, like I said earlier, about them. And I'm going to come up and show you guys a couple of different books that you could get when obtaining green stamps. Green stamps used to be in increments of 1s, 10s, and 50s, and those were essentially points, and they look something similar to this. But then I also do have this book here that is different. And you'll see that these are smaller stamps, which I believe these are going to be the 1 point, and then these are going to be the 10 points, and then the 50 points will just say 50 points on it. Bring that a little bit closer just to give you guys like a visual. And you could get these green stamps at a handful of places.
They look like they look like regular stamps that you like to put on an envelope.
And they also do have that adhesive on the back, which is why they have to be moistened and then stuck to the book as well.
So
because
how would I know what to buy with these?
So honestly, they give you a booklet, and that booklet does have a variety of different things in it, whether that be glassware, cookware, home goods, knickknacks, towels, just various homemaking items that you could achieve when getting your green stamps.
It was kind of like those of you who were around in the 80s Finger Hut.
Yes, I was literally,
90s.
yes.
It's very Finger Hut-ish. Imagine Wayfair in magazine form.
And like you couldn't use cash to buy anything from the catalogs. You could strictly only turn in and redeem your green
And
stamps
some
that
of the
way.
stuff was only available for a short period of time and only available through green stamps.
Yep, and that was honestly a really good marketing ploy even back in the 60s and 70s, just because it was like a buy it now, don't wait later, a limited edition type sale. I loved the green stamp signs. I felt like they are super ahead of the time, and they're heavy. They're ahead of the time. Those specific colors are meant to grab the, what was it called? I read like a little study here that it was meant to grab the homemaker's eye because it was bright and their primary colors.
And green is the color of money.
Money, exactly. So anything that's green and you can buy something with it, people automatically related that to money. S&H green stamps had several competitors, including green box stamps, and those were offered by Piggly Wiggly's, Gold Bell, which was in the Midwest only, triple stamped, Gold Bond, blue chips, and also plaid stamps as well.
I have them in here. There, Top Value.
Oh, perfect. Cool.
Here's Top Value stamps. So this would be a competitor. And as you can see, They're orange.
And yellow, crazy.
And yellow.
So they almost had somewhat of the same type of idea behind them, but they were just a little bit different. Obviously, you can't jock off your competitors.
A lot of stamp collectors actually like these too.
Yeah, they do. And we have a couple viewers here that says that they collected them. You can get some really cool stuff. What did you get with your first set of green stamps? That'd be really cool.
I'd be interested. Mom, what'd you get? Hi, Bill. We're talking green stamps and top value stamps. So, hey, I collect them. I collected them.
Sherry?
You could get great stuff, Sherry. We actually have a Pyrex set that is pumpkin butter print.
Oh, and you could only specifically get that set if you had green stamps. I'm not too sure if you could get those with the competitor knockoff stamps, but they might have had something that was similar. But honestly, I didn't get too far into looking at.
Well, that was only between, and I might say the date's wrong, so Steve, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's 67 to 69. Or
okay.
Something like that. That was only available, and you needed X amount of stamps for it.
And
they only put it out in that.
Yeah, and they only put it out in that one, but then they also had certain things that were available for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, or what Jason is talking about, which they had available for 2 years, and then after that 2 years was over, you were SOL and couldn't achieve it anymore. I also did want to talk about how in 1963, a magazine article stated that the average supermarket paid around $2.45 for the stamps that they needed to fulfill one collector's book. So if the superstore, for example, Steve said fall 1966 to spring 67.
Okay, so 1 year. Not even a whole year.
So when it came to supermarkets buying the green stamps in order to give to their consumers, they obviously had to come out of pocket for those because how is S&H going to make any of their money? So it was 1-to-1. So if you, for example, you're a homemaker who already collected everything in the book and the new book isn't coming out for the next year and you don't know what to do with all your green stamps because I believe that they didn't roll over because they did have dates on them, you could sell your points back to wherever your supermarket was at, but again, it was 1-to-1. So if you sold your entire book of 1,200 green stamps, you were only getting $1.20.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I actually looked it up because when you asked me if you could do it for cash, it said you give them 1,000, they'll give you $1.67.
$1, yep. So you're only getting like a penny per point, which was a little bit crazy.
It's funny. S&H, what's it stand for?
Sperry and Hutchison.
And Hutchinson Company, yep. And it was established in 1896.
That's crazy.
1896.
Two people sat down and was like, how can we make more money and make it fun?
And this is how.
That's a good way.
Now, it's funny because if you go to some back in the early thousands and the late 90s, individual towns had individual stuff like this, where they had their own money that would go back and forth. It would be like credits and stuff like that, which they eventually stopped doing. But yeah, it's cool. Go ahead.
I also have that they were broken down into 1s, 10s, 50s points, which is what I said earlier, and then one catalog held 1,200 points. So that's up to 50 points per page, which is why I think that one does have one single point on it, and then they're all 50. Some merchants did become...
These ones are 10 and 50.
Okay, gotcha. Yep, and then I think the one that you showed...
There's 3 different ones. Yeah, these are pennies, yeah.
And then also, too, I really like this fun fact because it's still prevalent in today's society. Some consumers would go to the store so often that they would become like a platonic relationship with the merchant. And they would specifically go to those merchants because on certain days, those merchants would give out double points for certain items. So if you came into the store and you guys spent $30 on your grocery items, instead of getting the 30 points, you would get 60 points or a couple of extra points on a couple of extra items just because that merchant wanted to treat you guys that day. And green stamps, they were such a monumental thing at the time because it genuinely forced the stay-at-home mom to buy more than she needed.
Yes.
Because if she was only a couple points away and she only had a couple dollars, she would probably spend that last couple of dollars to get those points in order to make a purchase that she wanted from the green stamp catalog.
And this book is not completely filled out, so I can show you how they would do it. Here, like, these will tell you for daughter, for son, stuff like that, so you can keep track of what you have.
And also, too, right when you would make your purchase with the merchants,
for this,
and they wouldn't let you take your green stamps home and put them on there yourself. They would put them on there themselves immediately as soon as you make that purchase.
So these are kind of cool. I think they're fun, and You know, the green stamps, something like this will never come back.
Right.
And if it did, it would be novelty. Because, but the magazines that you guys get from it, I mean, those we cannot keep in stock.
No, yeah, because they have so much cool stuff in them.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I was cleaning out the paper the other day, I found an original Spencer's Gifts booklet. And if any of our viewers remember, I was a manager at Spencer's for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that Spencer's Gifts has genuinely been a novelty store since day one.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously I knew
Yep.
that they sold knickknacks, but the
You want to know what kills me? Is when I was your age, actually, when I was younger. When I was a teenager, we had Spencer's.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Spencer's
so
was in
cool.
every mall.
I love
It was
that.
the one that you snuck into, and they wouldn't let you in the back of it, so
Yep.
you'd stand there and look
Look.
to see what was in the back of it.
And it's crazy now is because nowadays they don't even check for that anymore.
It's a different world.
It's so different.
Now that back part of Spencer's is a Tuesday morning.
No, literally for some people, yeah.
It's a Tuesday morning. So these are the coolest things, and a lot of people look at these and go, "What are these? What are these?" Well, this is a significant piece of history, especially for shopping.
100%.
It is, because if these start in 1890, we go through wars, right? So this is a good tie-in to what I'm going to talk about, and that is war rations.
Oh, I'm sorry, can I take this?
Yes, war rations. And I don't have any war ration stamps. I searched the whole area over there, but I do have the tokens.
Oh, yeah, those are really cool. I like those.
I do have the tokens. Now, these are interesting, and these are war ration tokens. Here, let me hold one up there for you guys to see. This is a blue chip. You've probably heard of blue chip rations. That's a blue chip. They come in two colors, right? They come in blue, and they come in red. One is for sugar, one is for meat.
Oh, wow.
Because war rations were used to help, because when World War II and World War I happened, and this is World War II. When World War II happened, they were afraid of inflation and all that type of stuff.
No.
So they did war rations, and the war rations they would use for certain product only.
Mm-hmm.
Not all product. War rations were used for certain products, and they were used in... I can't think of the word. Or along with money.
So, I guess now my question is like, can you show me an example of how I would be able to redeem one of these tokens if I'm already coming up and spending money on like bread
Well,
and
see,
eggs?
if you want to buy meat and sugar,
Okay.
and probably some other things as well, because there was a whole list of things that you could buy with certain things, right? So different types of meat, different types of like sugar, flour, you know,
Sure.
substantial stuff. And so if the item cost $5, well, let's be honest, if the item costs 5 cents,
Right.
because it's World War II, then it would be probably like it's 5 cents plus a blue
Token.
blue 1 or 3, because these are 1 cent, so it could be 4 or 5. You needed as many
wow.
as it required. So
Okay.
your meat could be 5 cents plus 5 tokens.
Okay.
Okay, so they thought that would help to stop inflation from happening.
Sure. How did you even get those?
So these were kind of changed from the stamps.
So
So if you have stamps, so you have war ration stamps, and I wish I had one to show you. They're similar to this, but bigger, and they would be larger denominations. So if you had, if the sugar was 5 cents plus 5 tokens, and all you had was a 10 stamp, you had in the 10 stamp, they gave you these back.
sure. Okay. So kind of like you're not getting money back, but you're getting these tokens back,
Right.
which you can use in place
Well,
of money.
with the stamp.
Shit. Okay. Oop. Sorry.
There goes our monetization
So
for the
sorry.
first 30 minutes.
I'm just like mind blown at this. All of this.
Is that what Steve's saying? Things were rationed. You couldn't get all you wanted. The majority of what we had went into soldiers. Yeah, so that would be why.
So, like, Steve, I guess, like, my main question is like, did you yourself or a member of your family have to be a part of the war in order for you to achieve these
A part of the military?
Yes.
I don't think so. If somebody knows the answer, please let us know. I don't believe so. Steve might be
Because
checking it out.
I
right
just,
now.
like, I think I'm missing the disconnection
Actually,
on how...
Can you Google it? Thank you.
I'm missing the connection on how you
well,
would...
it was government funded.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I understand
That's
now.
part of the whole thing. I mean, so...
Could you go in and buy
it's
those?
kind of like welfare in a way.
Okay.
But not.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I don't think welfare was around back then.
No, but...
You didn't have to be a part of the
You did not have to be a part of the military.
Okay.
Okay. No, all civilians were allowed
So much per week. Sure, obviously, because if this is due to inflation, you're not going to want everybody to just
And
come
I probably
in here
have
and
that
pay with
written
coins.
on my paper if I can pick it up and look at it.
No, it's okay. I also, too, wanted
Oh, it's on the
to
next
point this out because Jason pulled this out, and then once he moved another book, I found another one.
I did have that.
Oh, did you?
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, they're vulcanized fiber tokens from the OPA, the Office of Price Administration.
Okay.
Okay, and it's a government agency that was created during World War II to curb inflations. So tokens and stacks, they had no cash value, so you couldn't redeem them.
So you couldn't sell them back to anybody?
No, you couldn't redeem them to somebody, but they were required to buy certain foods like sugar and beef in addition to cash.
So, like, if I were to come in and I wanted a sack of flour that was 3 cents, and it was, the price tag literally said for this pound of flour, it's going to be 3 cents plus 4 ration tokens.
Right.
Gotcha. And if I
Yeah.
did not have those ration tokens,
Then
I
you
could not buy
couldn't
it.
because you got it had to maintain. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I did want to talk about this one last thing about these different types of currencies before we move on. I like the difference in
Oh, my
between
mom.
these two.
You have some of those, Mom? That's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, Steve also said gas, rubber, and sugar.
Yeah, gas.
Yeah,
Oh, I
right.
didn't read gas, but rubber and sugar makes sense.
So for the original S&H green stamp book here, we do have where it says a minimum of 300 stamps may be redeemed at the option of a holder for cash instead of merchandise. The cash value for 300 stamps is 50 cents, and the cash value of a completed book is $2. The minimum is less than 300 stamps in certain states. It also says here that for bonus gifts, points mean extra S&H green stamps, and essentially you could choose between 5s, 10s, and even highs as 30 and 40 points for just one item. One bonus item gift is worth 1 S&H green stamp. Over 100 famous products you could purchase and get a whole bunch of different things. And also, every time you used one of your bonus tokens, they gave you 5 back.
Oh, really?
Yep. And
That's
then
cool.
the difference between that and the true value one in here is that it says if you have a whole book, the true value stamp holds 1,500 compared to the S&H, which only hold 1,200.
Right. So, but more people did the
S&H, just because it was more popular at the time it came out first, they were more reliable and they had a better collection to choose from.
And they probably had better distribution.
Exactly, like Top Value and everything, they kind of came last and they were kind of just riding the bandwagon.
And it's funny, I
along.
wonder if that Top Value is Top Value hardware.
Honestly, I think it is because the font is still the same in the logo.
Isn't that hilarious? I love how things morph. So we talk about the rations, we talk about the different things like that. Good evening, Kimberly. We talk about rations, we talk about things like that because these are the way we bought things back in the day, along with money. But there's other things, there's other ways, like if you were around in the 80s, you know, and everybody smoked, right? Mm-hmm. And so some of the...
Yes, I did hear about that,
What is
Steve.
it?
Like,
Say
some women were just financially not available to get or redeem their points for pantyhose or for stockings. So they would literally take like brown or black eyeliner or lip liner and draw a line
Oh my
from
gosh.
their heel all the way up to their buttock because that's the seam that
So,
would be on pantyhose or
Watch Swing
stockings.
Shift, you'll see that.
Yep. I personally,
The movie.
they're an acquired style of nylon just because that line, that seam is very
Well,
noticeable.
Plus, the nylons were used in the war.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm. So, you know, people tossed all their gold in so that they would be melted down for war.
Mm-hmm.
They did all that type of stuff. So, some of the weird places that we bought stuff back in the day. And if you were around in the 80s or you, listen to your mom, and these are ways of mom or dad about their past. And this is when I say bring your parents in, bring your grandparents in to walk down their memory lane because this is the stuff you'll learn.
And it's honestly it's a good feeling when I show my mom certain things. I'm like, Mom, do you remember this? And she's like, Jasmine, I had that and you hated it. And I was like, well, now I love it. I think it's cute. Like that, what is it, Blue Heaven? That Blue Heaven set, which you could ironically only buy in the grocery store for a limited amount of time.
Yeah. And I'm going to show you in a minute.
Yeah, she had that whole set, and I thought it was a super cool correlation.
Yeah. So those in the 80s, remember, because everybody smoked, 70s and 80s, let's say 70s and 80s, And they're hot now too, not the cigarettes, but they're hot now. What you could get with them. So you'd smoke a cigarette, you'd tear the tab off the cigarette, and you'd save it until you get enough of them, and you would send it in for like a duffel bag, a Marlboro duffel bag. Or you knew that, right?
Well, I knew that they did that, but I didn't know that you saved the filter. They usually just make
Not the filter. You save the tab.
Oh, I was gonna say the tab off the top of the box. Yeah.
Off the top of the pack or the carton itself, and so you save all those up, and then you send them in, and Marlboro would send you a duffel bag, a jacket, a sweater, something to that effect. Camel did the same thing. We sell the crap out of that stuff when we find it.
And I thought it was silly because we've literally had that jacket for quite some time, and now we're doing a show on it, and it's sold like literally right before the show.
Isn't that hilarious? But all the Marlboro go like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So these are things that you could not buy, you could not pay for. You had to save the tops of the cigarette packs. Literally in the early '80s, when my stomping grounds in Oceanside, California, I would see people pick up discarded cigarette packs to rip the labels off so that they could.
They would give so much cool stuff. Like Marlboro literally had like an entire collection of like, obviously it was all red, black, and white, but they had like, Jason said, the duffel bags, leather jackets, radios, posters, camping stuff, like sleeping bags or tents.
And I'm going to tell you, we sell the crap out of it. We searched this entire store for a piece of product that was from one.
Yeah, and I myself, I'm thinking about it, I don't even think we have one memorabilia from, because Marlboro stuff, it goes so quickly, and it's also kind of expensive too. Is it Marlboro?
Oh, you probably could have ordered that from the
lunchbox
in the 70s. So that was a big thing on how you got product, how you got. Oh no, you're just making her happier and happier.
Well, because he's talking and I'm just like,
I should have brought it.
Brought it, yeah.
How hilarious! War recycle drives. Let's read that, would you?
It says, war recycling drives are why pre-war comic books and movie posters are so rare and expensive. Many of them were recycled for the war for effort.
See, that's Steve. So he is a mind of knowledge when it comes to stuff like that.
I know, sometimes I wish I could just like pull him out of my pocket and he can answer questions for you guys.
Right? So I'm glad he's on and talking, because some of this stuff I'm not 100. When it comes to war stuff,
he's clueless, the one that, honestly.
And he loves American history, so he knows a lot of it. So, but outside of the cigarette packs, we have other ways that you would buy food. How many of you in the 70s? Now I know your parents are the same age as my parents, but you still weren't here in the 70s,
right?
But you may have heard about it being dragged to the grocery store. Or you're going on a trip somewhere and you stop at a gas station and all of a sudden your mom runs out with a piece of glass plate, glass plate, or a whole dinner set.
Did you bring any over?
Or they come in and, yeah, it's right here. Oh, it's right there.
Okay, cool.
So, depression glass. What else do you have written down?
I have seal test, which I do want to talk about, and then I also have Welch's as well.
Okay. Seal test we're going to get into because it's fun. So, depression glass, we all know what it is, right? A lot of people call it depressing glass. We've done many shows where we talked about glass, right? And we've done many shows about the product, how it's made up, how the glass is created, all that type of stuff. Well, this story is not about the glass itself. It's about how you can get this. And depression glass was usually bought at gas stations. This. At roadside area, mostly gas stations, grocery stores, A&P stores, type of stuff like that.
And like smaller mom and pop shops, like I'm going to use, for example, like Farmer Jack, for example. Like,
yes.
Like they were a smaller company, so they were able to afford and were able to offer things like this.
And it's hilarious because I remember this clearly going through, and I remember my aunt, because a lot of collector plates were about that way too. So a lot of the curio knives, a lot of the...
Again, marketing was ahead of the time.
Yeah.
It was literally like you could only get these specific items only if you shop at these specific places and only spend this specific amount of money. It was really just a good sales tactic for sure.
Or something like this, like for instance with the... so one of the most popular ones that were sold, and I don't have one to show you, were the different blue transferware plates of the Capitals.
Oh, yes, okay.
And so, like January, you'd go into the grocery store, and they would have, like, I'm going to say Washington, right? So that's the only one they have. So if that's the one you want, you buy it, right? And it's not only available at the grocery store, and it's only available for so much time, right? You go in February, and they may have Massachusetts.
Right.
But Washington's gone.
Yep.
So you get it. You get that one. So that encourages you to keep coming back.
And it also tricked so many people
Yes.
into falling for it, because then they would come in and say, well, wasn't it last month? Wasn't it just Washington? And why all of a sudden is it Massachusetts now?
Yeah, because they want you to collect all 50 states.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
they'll keep it going and keep it going. Same with depression glass. And depression glass, which, you know, was a big one at gas stations and stuff. You could if you wanted to collect the pink set, then you better go back to that gas station every week or every month, because they would supply you with a different piece. So if you missed a week or missed a month, you missed that piece.
And that would suck if you were a person who was really trying to get the entire set for maybe like your kitchen table or your china cabinet. And if you missed that one piece, again, you're SOL, because there's no way for you to re-achieve.
And what's hilarious is that's what people think, that like collector plates and this is worth a lot because you couldn't get that. Well, the funny thing is a lot of people got it.
Yep.
So, and then they started mass producing them later down the road.
So now I understand that in our store, at least, we do have our Carnival glass in the same section as Depression glass. Is Carnival glass part of the Depression glass family?
No, Carnival glass was given at carnivals. Depression glass you had to buy.
I personally knew that. I just wanted to in case
Carnival glass, because we have all the glass over there, Carnival glass you won at carnivals. You couldn't buy it. You had to win it.
And also, too, like you just said something and it sparked my memory. Depression glass was only made in 4 colors, which was purple, green, blue, and brown, which is like that yellowish golden color. And a lot of people also thought that made it rare as well, because at the time colored glass was like literally non-existent. These people thought that they were wizards being able to achieve pink and blue and brown glass. So it also just skyrocketed the price for Depression glass as well.
So how many of you remember going through the grocery store, going to a gas station, and you know Aunt Elva or
Marie.
I have an Aunt Elva or somebody come running out going, I got the plate, because I remember that. But then I have strange family. So she was talking about Blue Haven. Right?
Yes.
So you want to show a piece?
I sure do.
So this is what's funny to me, you guys, is everybody who comes in here that's a little bit older, they always talk about, oh, I remember that set. Oh, I remember that set. My family had that set. My family had that set. Oh, I grew up on that set. Oh, I grew up on that set. Blue Heaven, right? Well, it dawned on me today why everybody is saying that. They may not have eaten off that plate, but they remember being dragged to the grocery store with Mom and seeing it on the wall. And Mom going, okay, I need this place setting and this place setting, you know, and then going on. But what was funny is like the Blue Heaven would have been, was a promotional plate. The Blue Heaven. And I know this is Brooke's favorite.
And it makes me laugh because I just turned 25. When I was like 9 years old, my mom...
I said Blue Heaven, didn't I?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
My mom used to pull this out and call it our fancy china. And she would never let anybody use it. It was always hand washed. She never put it in the dishwasher. Mm-hmm. And I hated it. I thought it was like the ugliest thing ever. And I was like, Mom, why do we have to use these hideous plates? And then literally just a couple months ago, I sent my mom a picture and she's like, you used to hate that. And I was like, well, I love it now.
And I want to do a quick caveat back to glass, because Steve is right 100% on this. One of the things that attracted so many people to the Depression glass at the gas stations or the grocery stores was the fact that it was inexpensive. Mm-hmm. It was not expensive at all. And it was pressed glass that looked more expensive than it was.
Yes, like that imprint with all the florals and the etching on the sides too. Again, marketing tactic. It was so smart.
And what's funny is pre-department stores, that's the only way you got it.
Yeah, literally. There's no other way. There was no catalog
Woolworths.
or anything like that. You couldn't go in and order it. It was strictly like you
What
had
I
to be in
did
store to
learn
see it.
is that the Blue Heaven was a promotional set from Country Living magazine.
Which is hilarious because
For me too.
like I'm just trying to like both my parents were born in 1957, so I'm just genuinely trying to think of my mom purchasing items from the country living.
But what's
catalog.
killing me is these do not scream
Country
to
living.
me
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
at all. This is one of our top selling mid-century pattern.
I mean, I love it. It's gorgeous.
So Country Living made. I mean, that's probably why they stayed a magazine for so long.
Because they were able to keep up with the times and the changes in the aesthetics that people were trying to go for.
Now that I'm looking at it, I see where it would be somewhat country living, but it almost looks not country like.
Like if you had the geese all over your
not
kitchen.
that. That's 80s country.
With the geese and the bow, the blue bow.
Yeah, that's 80s country. Yeah, this is more Loretta Lynn country or Patsy Cline country. Geese is more 80s throw it away country.
Yeah, no swear.
Isn't that hilarious? Is somebody from Caffeinated
yeah,
watching? Yay, Brooke, you missed the whole beginning of it talking about how fabulous your show is.
I know.
We'll be talking about it again and again and again. But anyways, the Blue Heaven, and I know Brooke loves this, that's funny. Country Living magazine, bought it at grocery stores. They would have the magazine next to it, and they would come in like sets of 4, sets of like the little dishes and stuff like that. Our top selling, you guys. It's crazy. So another one that you bought, and this one was now, what kills me is golden wheat, which I wish I had one to show you. That was fantastic. But blue, this is Swiss Chalet Alpine, right? And this Swiss was only available at certain grocery stores and certain gas stations. What's it say?
I like how here it says it's hand decorated, made in America, oven proof, which is crazy. Detergent proof and underglazed.
Underglazed, yep. So it's double glazed.
Yep, glazed on the bottom and the top.
So this is Swiss Chalet, and it's funny because I usually put this out at Christmas a lot.
Brooke, you're hilarious.
What?
It's okay, you can just rewind it.
What?
She's like, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. But this right here was only available at certain gas stations and certain grocery stores, which is funny because until Steve found it, I'd never even seen this.
Me neither.
Before.
I have not either. And I also think that it's very country. It's giving country for sure.
Yeah.
I can't believe, honestly, I know it sounds so silly, I can't believe the plate's oven proof.
Yeah. It's
Plates
double.
I'll say plates are not oven proof. They will explode.
Well, they are oven proof for 1960.
Right, exactly. Now
Okay.
it would just disintegrate.
Right. But as you can see, it's got the mark right there, the Made in America mark right there. And it's good heavy plate.
Yeah, it is. It's a sturdy, good plate.
Yeah, and this size for that time period is awfully large.
It's like that plate that I got from here a couple of weeks ago that I'm like obsessed with.
But because usually back then the plates would be
Thin.
smaller. You can grab that one. It would be that size. So look at this looks like a charger. Doesn't it? Because look at the size difference.
It is the size of a charger.
Which is interesting to me because back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s...
Which one came up first?
This one. This one did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, portion size.
It is, but portion size like this, portion size did not start happening until the 80s.
That's what I'm saying. Like this, everybody was
But
so
this is
skinny
70s.
and petite. And, okay. Well,
Yeah.
maybe they're just forcing people to get fat
This
in
is
the
60s,
70s.
70s. And what kills me is, and a lot of people say this is probably a platter, but these are the actual dishes,
Plates,
you guys.
yeah.
It's crazy. I love it.
I love the two.
But, so, where did your favorite dishes come from? A gas station? Who knew, right? But this isn't even the most bizarre. We're keeping going on the most bizarre. What are you talking about?
So he pulled this one up to me earlier, and
And
honestly,
thank you, Steve, because I had no idea.
And honestly, yes, thanks, Steve, because I was very intrigued. And earlier,
I was even like blown away when I opened it and looked at it.
well, like last week, and I always say this, I always find new things here that I don't know what they are, and I always walk up to Jason like, "What is this?" And I just opened it, and I thought that it was just a normal mug.
Okay.
But you see how it's got the lid here. But I personally thought like, okay, boom, you get a cup of coffee. And boom, you have a coaster. That was like the immediate thing that I thought. Reread that. And then when I opened it today, I found this little token, which is stuck on the inside of the plate, or the cup, I'm sorry. I also just noticed that it was made in Ovid, Michigan, which was really cool. Didn't know
So
that.
when you bought this, it was filled with cottage cheese.
Yep, it was filled with cottage cheese, and then they also gave you a cup to keep it in. I have a couple of really cool things about
Then
seal
you
test.
can use the cup for coffee afterwards or whatever, so you start building your coffee cups.
Yep, and you can also restore your cream or dairy products in that because that was the
If you ask me, this is a great way of not wasting product.
100%.
You sell this, and you're not dealing with the plastic for the cottage cheese container. And then you have something afterwards. We need to get back to that.
No, 100%. I feel like it would also sell, like brands would sell a lot more.
Steve writes that with the dishes that you bought, they made a lot of non-traditional pieces that were part of this set. So he writes, they made many accompanying pieces that weren't part of the traditional place settings, like ashtrays, individual ashtrays for each, different stuff like that, which is good to know because once those were gone from the grocery store, you probably couldn't get them again.
Exactly, yeah. And again, that another reason why they became so sought after and wanted by
because the ashtrays, each one of these place settings does have ashtrays that go with each set. And we've had a few of them here and there because everybody smoked back then.
That's great.
But I had never seen some of them, some of the patterns.
A lot of them are very intricate and different, and were so quickly advertised to people. But back to Seal Test, did not know that that was made in Ovid, Michigan. That's really cool. They are a Good Humor and Breyers brand for dairy products and production. So essentially, Seal Test only offered things like cheese, milk, cottage cheese, butter, things like that.
Did they all come in reusable containers?
They did, actually.
That's awesome.
At least from what I had read, that they all came in to reusable containers. But then they also, at one point, for a very short amount of time, had people be able to bring these back and get them refilled. But there was just a little issue with discrepancy, and people weren't, unfortunately, following the directions when it came to that. So
it's funny because we're getting more and more bizarre, and we haven't even gotten to the most bizarre things.
I know.
Yet.
This is the last thing that I have about Seal Test, and then we're going to bounce over. It was a brand that was then later used by various companies in Canada under license. So, for example, like Kraft owns Seal Test right now.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, they unfortunately had sold out, and in 1993, this is super important. In 1993, the brand Unilever, the largest ice cream marketer in the world at the time, acquired ice cream operations of Kraft General Foods and combined it with the Good Humor Frozen Novelty Company to form Good Humor Breyers.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep. And then, unfortunately,
the things you learn.
I know, especially
I
when
lost
I'm
my
here.
words.
And then to end that off, Seal Test at that point in time, after they done sold themselves out, had no opportunity.
I love it. After they sold themselves out.
Yeah, they did. They done sold
it.
themselves out. They done did it, and they're no longer a brand. They practically just threw themselves to the curb after they collabed with Good Humor Breyers and Kraft. So.
Good humor. Now I want an ice cream.
I know, right?
Okay, so we're still not even talking about the most bizarre things, the way to get your product, right? So, laundry detergent. Let's talk about laundry detergent,
yes, love
shall
this
we?
one.
So, laundry detergent. This is Dutz laundry detergent. Safe suds. I'm going to hold it up close. See? Right?
Show them that back.
Look at the back.
Snowy white clothing.
You know, maybe we'll find a commercial and stick you in that outfit.
Please,
to do
let's
it.
do it.
I love it.
So down.
So, you've got a little comic on the back, right? Because while you're doing it, you can read it and whatnot.
Safe Suds gets clothing dazzling white, makes more suds quicker. Such speed for dishes, so nice on hands.
So, I said laundry soap, dish soap. I said dish soap.
Is it dish soap?
It's dish soap.
It looks like it's.
It looks like laundry.
Safe.
I think it's both.
Yeah, because it says safe for dishes, kind to hands, and for cleaner clothes.
Yeah.
Boom.
Okay, so back then they would use the same for all, right? Now this is a small box, but they came in much bigger boxes.
And also, too, David made a crazy face over there. This was concentrate, so this box would literally last you forever.
Yeah.
Like literally
And there's some
forever.
in here too. And it still smells like soap. But so this would come in a bigger box, right? Back then, the small box was a big box, and you always wanted to buy the bigger box.
Always. Why?
Okay, because how many of you buy cereal and look for the toy in it?
Me. I'm guilty.
Right? And well, I'm going to tell you, back when I was a kid, the toys were better.
Yeah, and now
So-
you have to send it in with 20 other stamps to get the toy.
Oh, they don't put them in boxes anymore?
Oh no.
Really?
Oh no.
Wow.
Yeah, you have to like literally cut up, not even box tops.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Because we had some good toys.
Yeah.
So, back then when Dutz was a thing, right? And you would buy the box. So, and look this up if you don't believe me, because it's true. You would get a teacup in the box.
Now, like Jason pointed out, this is not the box that you would
That's
have to
not
buy.
the teacup either, but I just
But
wanted
this,
to show.
this would be inside of your laundry detergent.
Yep. Actually, and it would actually be in Dutz laundry detergent, along with golden wheat dinnerware. So you wouldn't know what you'd get. Would you get the teacup and saucer, or would you get a plate with the golden wheat on it?
I wonder if it was like, this sounds so silly. I wonder if it was
Inside
like,
here. I hope it was wrapped in something.
no, right, of course. And to think about it sitting in there on the shelf for so long, what they got to say?
Who?
Anything good?
No, it's just hearts and stuff.
Oh, okay. I was curious about how the packaging would work, because if you notice, now can I snag this? It doesn't have a weight on here.
No, because back then they didn't have to do that. You buy food without even knowing what's in it.
Which, that's another thing that is super intriguing to me, because nowadays you have to weigh everything. Everything has a weight on it, and a lot of things have disclaimers that this box of noodles might weigh 9 ounces, but products may settle, so it might not look like 9 ounces.
So the teacup that came in here was called Trellis.
Trellis.
Sure. And it actually matched the golden wheat. So you could start, every time you buy a box of
I wonder if
detergent,
they did that on purpose.
you could probably start creating your... That's the craziest thing in the whole world to me, is that on your detergent that you would get actual ceramic stuff in it.
I also love the fact that this brand... Oh, okay, found it. The net weight is 1 pound, 5 ounces, and 1/2 ounces.
So I wonder on the bigger boxes, when they do the plate in it, if they add that as part of the weight, so you actually get less product.
And that's what I've been saying.
And I wonder if that's the case. That could very well be the case.
This does smell like soap still. Crazy. I think that this is crazy because here it even just like, this is such a ahead of its time product for it to be a concentrated powder soap that you can use on clothing and home goods. Now they just try to sell you on one product for everything, and then it doesn't work, so then you still have to go to the store and buy 5 other products for that.
We're still not at the strangest. We're getting there though. Okay, so we're getting there though, and I wish I had some Quaker oatmeal up here.
Oh, yes.
Because, and there might be some hidden down in there somewhere, but it's not going to be the container I want. So, oatmeal. Oatmeal, Quaker Oats was known for putting anchor hocking glass.
Yes, I love this one.
Okay, that's sandwich glass.
Yes.
They would put a cup inside of a Quaker Oats so that when you opened it, you would have a glass.
To eat your oatmeal out of.
Probably, but you collect them. And then you collect like 6 or 8 of them, and then you can order the punch bowl that goes with it.
What is, again, marketing ploy.
I'm telling you.
I wonder what unfortunately happened with business for them to have to stop doing these things.
Well, I think a lot of it was if it breaks inside of it.
Sure.
Then you have glass shards.
Yep.
I think it just became we became too many people.
Sure.
We became too many.
Aggressive.
Too many people, too aggressive, too
careless, because people
careless,
just throw things back
too
on the
careless. And we are a society of trash. We throw things away and greed. So we don't want something inside of a Quaker Oats, which is kind of cool. Because I don't think they even put surprises in Cracker Jacks anymore either.
No, actually, they do. But you want to know what's really lame? I'm really glad you brought this up. You used to be able to get really cool toys within Cracker Jacks, like plastic pieces, things like slingshots. Like, I remember as a little girl getting legitimate toys in Cracker Jacks. I think I hit the age of like 12 or 13, and then everything was paper.
Isn't that You
got a toy, but it was made out of freaking paper.
Yep.
And you had to fold it and stick it together, and it was never the same. It was really cheap. They would always rip. Oh, that just made me so mad, because I just remember getting all the cool stuff, and now you get nothing.
So, with the Cracker Jacks and the oatmeal, well, before we get to the Cracker Jacks, the oatmeal, the anchor hocking green sandwich glass that showed up in there is probably to eat, originally to eat oatmeal in. But it's astounding to me today, and I think kids our age or younger.
Surely you're right. It is
now,
like temporary tattoos.
Now, is that what it is now? Temporary tattoos. So I remember decoder rings.
Oh my gosh! I had one of those.
Yeah. Now you could order those through a magazine, like through.
Do you remember those?
If you ever watched A Christmas Story, he wanted the decoder ring off the back of the box.
It like essentially had like 2 rings on it with like letters on each one, and then you had to like match the colors with the back of the Cracker Jack box, and you had to spin it and then write it out. It was like Morse code. Oh, it was such a cool thing. Such a cool thing.
So that's what I remember. That type of stuff and the fun stuff like that. But but glass in your oatmeal. I hope it was in a baggie, but you know what? It blows my mind because they had all different kinds of things in the oatmeal. Quaker Oats was known to doing that. So they stopped that before the 70s because I don't remember anything. If you're in your 50s, you guys, and you were a kid in the 70s, whether you were a teenager or or I don't care how old you were, if you were alive in the 70s, do you remember, or 60s, do you remember when they stopped or when they used to put the stuff in Quaker Oats oatmeal?
When did they stop putting Anchor Hawking inside of Quaker Oats?
That might be too specific. Because there was a bunch of different stuff they put in.
Here's what I found.
Apparently nothing because she shut up.
It actually gave me a whole bunch of information. At some point, Quaker Oats was losing funding on Anchor Hawking and had to switch to depression glass.
Oh, so they started putting... Okay, so now I'm interested to know if Anchor Hawking and...
Through the 1960s.
Through the 1960s?
Some say the dishes made basic food taste better.
Ah.
The dishes made basic food taste better.
Yep.
I love having somebody look up as we talk.
And it also here says that's what happened during the 1920s and 1930s when, what is that? Ubiquitous households? Ubiquitous households such
Split
as
in
bags
half.
of flour and canisters of tea were also included with drinks
Yes.
as well.
Okay, so let's talk about tea. Rose tea.
Should I go
You can grab one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go grab a couple.
So that's one of a big seller of ours is rose tea. Whenever you bought rose tea, you got a Wade Whimsy in it, a little animal. That way you could start your collection of little animals and stuff like that, which was a lot of fun. But it's just nuts the things that you could get. And then if you wanted like Cracker Jacks, like speaking of Cracker Jacks, these are Wade Whimsies. She's going to show you.
And these are also, again, really sought after too right now because a lot of people remember their grandmother having these. And I remember my grandmother having these because she would get so mad if she would get the monkey in the same color. And they're just little tiny ceramic animals that came in a bunch of different colors. They were made in England, so you know that they're made with pretty decent. And you just have different monkeys. So we got a rhino, a monkey. I think this is a gorilla and a kangaroo. And we have a whole bunch. And they're super cute, super sought after, sturdy.
So speaking of Cracker Jacks, you could also save the tabs for Cracker Jacks and send in to get the cereal bowl and the milk mug, I guess. Same with your cereals. That's how you got a lot of this stuff. You would order it like this is Kellogg's. So you would save the box tops and you would send in and you would get the Kellogg's.
Your best days start with
cereal
breakfast.
bill.
What is this one?
It's a cereal bowl, Kellogg's.
Kellogg's. Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's Kellogg's. So these are ways that you got your product back then.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't just go down to Target.
And also, too, this was like another really good way for your
That's why
household.
everything's so eclectic and different.
And this was also another good way to really show off if your family at the time was wealthy. What?
So Tammy, I love it. I love comments like this. So I remember my mother pouring out product to get the item out. They were buried, then she would pour it back in.
Just because you want it's all the way on the bottom.
I'm going to tell you, that was a 70s staple.
Oh, yeah,
you
for
pour
sure.
the cereal out, you grab what you want, you
Dump
put it back in.
My mom would kill me.
That is so funny because, yes, they would do that.
And I felt like also, too, it was just like the hunt. It was a good, fun way to get kids to be intrigued on eating breakfast, to eat oatmeals, to drink tea on certain things like that.
Absolutely.
But again, I felt like this was another good way to really showcase how wealthy...
Like the Kellogg's.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I wonder if that part in
Tony the
Unfrosted was legitimate or not.
What do you mean?
Because if you guys have seen Unfrosted with Jerry Seinfeld, they have a lot of cereal references.
Oh, you're right. They did. But you could also get them in the box of tea as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And they make a joke about Tony the Tiger where he says, they're good instead of they're great. And I remember there was
I
a whole...
don't think any of that movie was real.
Really? That's such a bummer. You know what?
I think it's a mockumentary.
Yeah, that's what, Dave, that's what he called it, a mockumentary. You ever heard of that? You guys ever heard of a mockumentary?
Yeah, mockumentary. Spinal Tap.
Okay, yes, that makes a whole lot of sense now, because I love Spinal Tap, and I know that they're not real.
Spinal Tap is not a real...
They're not a real band.
That's a mockumentary.
It's just fake.
Yeah. So, mockumentaries are a thing right now, because they did one on Doritos, on Hot and Spicy Cheez-Its or whatever
That's
it was.
so crazy, we'll have to watch it.
They did this one. But
Did you feel like that when your family had certain things like this, that it was a good way to show off your wealth because not a lot of people could really afford?
No, well, my dad and stepmom in the 70s, it wasn't about sharing, like, two things. They never flaunted their money other than the house they lived in.
Sure.
But but that was only because of the fact that he had wanted it all his life and he finally bought it.
Sure.
But I know people who used to do that.
Well, I was only thinking of in the aspects of like a lot of these things are really sought after and hard to get, and you had to spend an X amount of money to be able to get those things.
I think everybody did that.
Did that? Yeah.
To some degree. Like if there was a, I mean, we're human.
Oh, of course.
And I don't care if you're rich, poor, or don't care or care.
But now I see when in that predicament, I look at myself and I say, do I want to see myself have it or do I want to see somebody else have it? Usually it's I just want to see somebody else have it. I don't even
Usually
want
I want it to give to somebody else.
Yes. Perfect.
If you know what I mean, rather than saving it for the next person. So as we come to a close, so isn't that bizarre? Some of this stuff?
Yes. I just felt like this was such a lot of these things, I keep saying it, ahead of its time. Marketing ploys that should have been improvised today, that what I personally feel like in certain aspects would be really, really great for our older generation of people who either are hard with money, don't carry a lot of cash on them. I feel like the ration tokens, the green stamps, I felt like it was all ahead of its time.
You also have to think about it on the opposite aspect of the spectrum here, because you've got people who go for the hunt. Even back then, they go for the hunt. They pour out the boxes or pour out the product to get to the stuff and stuff like that. But you got to remember that that's where it ended.
Right.
So in other words, we couldn't say, oh, we didn't get the one we want, like McDonald's toy in the 90s.
You went back again the next day.
You went back again the next day to get it. See, that wasn't the case here. You got what they gave you.
Yep.
So in other words, whatever was in there, you got. It was no buying another one to get a different one because they were all in the same one.
Yep.
You know, you went to the store and you got the platter, but you need 4 more dishes. Well, guess what? You either have to wait till the dishes come back, or you just don't get them.
Right. And usually you just
or
don't
you
get
find
them.
somebody who bought too many of them.
I feel like on the inverse side, that's why they do the randomness now, because it keeps you buying,
It keeps you buying. You're exactly right. So repeat that.
So David pretty much said that on the adverse effect, he feels like the reason why it's popular now is because it's randomized, and I'm guilty. My backpack is covered in a bunch of keychains that I kept having to buy to get the ones that I wanted.
Right.
So.
And that's what happens, like with the things for your Crocs.
Yes, gibbets.
Gibbets. Yep. You know what I mean? These things we can go back and we can do
purchase them again.
Yeah,
and
over and
know what
over
they are.
again. And then but they couldn't do that back then.
Like a Kinder Surprise, every toy's supposed to be different, but now they done took the toys out of Kinder Eggs.
I don't even know what a Kinder Egg is.
Are you serious? Really? I thought out of all people, you know, Kinder Egg's literally just a chocolate hollowed out egg. There used to be a legitimate toy on the inside, but kids are just putting the whole thing in their mouth and choking on it.
Oh, sounds like a Tide Pod.
Yep. Oh, essentially. Almost. And Kinder Eggs just came from Germany. They were a German toy, so, you know, German kids are a little bit smarter.
Oh, that's funny. So we talked about some crazy stuff on
We
that.
sure did. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
I did too.
I learned
And
a whole
if
bunch.
you can think of anything that we did not talk about on strange ways of obtaining things, let us know. Vintage things. Also, next Tuesday we will not be here in this location.
But that's okay, because you can still watch us.
You can still watch us. You can watch us with Brooke Allen,
Yep.
and she kicks off her inaugural Caffeinated After Dark.
I'm really excited for
Caffeinated
that.
Conversations After Dark. Her very first one, number 27. You were there.
Yep, it sure was.
You were there. And we announced it then that the Caffeinated Conversations After Dark with Brooke Allen, their inaugural show, is a collaboration with Mad Michigan, Time Warp Vintage, and Karen Kaufman, Public Relations. I hope I said that correctly. Design Team Plus and Heights Brewery. And what's happening is Mad is actually stepping behind the bar in a form of way. I like what you said.
The tables have turned.
The tables have turned because they are going to start making a change from within the bar.
I think Jason, what's really trying to say is that this is such an honorable and historical moment with Time Warp and MAD and breweries in itself, because there's a very large stigma against MAD. People think that MAD is just anti-drinking when that's really not the
No,
case.
has nothing
We are
to do with that.
anti-drinking and driving.
They would not go into a bar if they were anti-drinking.
Exactly. And I felt like this is like a great opportunity to really showcase to people that MAD is approving of drinking. It's just, you should really, you plan your rides, like Jason says, you plan your rides, you plan your outfits, you plan your whole night out, plan how you're going to get home that night.
So I am extremely proud to be a part of this. I'm extremely thankful to Brooke Allen for allowing us to be a part of this, because it was her inaugural show. And by bringing Matt on, and by talking to us about streaming on our platform, you'll be able to watch it here on Time Warp. So therefore we moved TWL
All the way to Farmington.
all the way to Farmington.
And I'm really excited. I hope you guys get to be
Downtown
there or be square.
Farmington.
Yeah, either be there or be square.
I love it.
We'll be there. Lots of new faces will be there. A couple of unnamed faces are going to be there as well.
Yep.
We're keeping the anticipation. And again, I can't stress this enough. This event is invite only, but tickets are still available to purchase. But by the time I say this, there could be no tickets available.
And it is the inaugural event, which means there are going to be more of the Caffeinated After Dark at breweries, hopefully with Mad's participation. And so next month we'll be in a different location.
So I'm really excited for that.
I'm excited
and
about it.
We'll be there, and I hope you guys can be there too.
Yes.
Cool.
And thank you for joining us. Remember, send us your crazy ways you bought stuff in the past, and we'll share them online.
I would love that. Yeah, I always tell people too, you guys better send me some pictures this time.
That would be fun if they
Yeah.
have them from back then.
Well, they say they do, and then we never
Why?
get
Who said that? Let's see. We'll call them out.
I
No,
know,
I'm
right?
kidding.
But until then, you guys, this is going to be available to watch and rewatch again, time and time again,
Yep.
as soon as we're done ending. It's also going to be uploaded to YouTube tomorrow morning, so don't miss that either.
And I got to tell you, I am humbled at how many people are watching.
Oh my
it
gosh,
already.
I know. It's honestly super cute when like Jason will introduce me to somebody and they're like, I already know who you are.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So
do
we
you
have
know?
one show that's pushing 30,000.
And I love
Views.
that. And I really
I
like,
mean-
even like on the shows where like I unfortunately have missed, Jason still brings in a full cast, and it's
I
a
do.
really cool group of people. If you guys missed the Monster Mag segment,
With Joe,
go
you
back
go
to
back
that.
and watch it.
It's a super
People love
interesting-
it
yeah.
because it's climbing like crazy.
It is for sure.
Especially when we do specific things, like those monster magazines. Especially since Joe is so.
Why not?
Although you're a big horror fan too, so I can imagine that I wouldn't have had a word to say between the two of you.
Oh, I loved it so much. I hope you guys get to rewatch it, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Yes,
live broadcasting from
absolutely.
Farmington.
Thanks.
Bye. Ooh, and you got that one too?